Okay. So, this is the first video for Cinema Freaks Live. I'm Larry, this is Nathan. And we're talking about the 2016 Ghostbusters movie, which we saw the other day in 11:50 at night in Melbourne. It was a good time.
I don't know which was more terrifying, the ghosts or that fact.
Or the what?
Or the fact that we were in Melbourne until 11:50.
Yeah, that's where the muse takes us sometimes. And yeah, so there's a lot of stuff to talk about with Ghostbusters. I mean, people have been talking about this, going back and forth like a war for months now over this movie. It's like, what did you think about what was your experience leading up to this? Like, how did you hear about it and all that?
Well, always been a fan of the series growing up. You know, when Ramus died, it was like, you know, losing. It was actually like losing a piece of your childhood, not the fact that they remade a movie with a different cast. But when they announced the reboot, I was actually alright with it.
Yep.
Bill Murray seemed on board, Aykroyd seemed on board, I was fine with it. I never actually had any issues until, I will admit the trailer was a little
Oh yeah, no, the trailer, I thought both of the trailers, they looked pretty bad.
They did.
And, but then I didn't really care about the fact that there were 4 women in it.
No.
Personally, I prefer that to having a remake with 4 guys. It would have just been lame to do it with 4 guys again. We've already seen
it would have been the stereotypical, you know, Michael Cera, Jonah Hill, Seth Rogen.
Exactly. We don't really need to see that. We've already seen that kind of bullshit
a billion times.
Yeah, and this one, at least I was like, alright, well, you know, I don't really want to see a remake. I don't really like remakes, but at the same time, you know, if they're going to remake Ghostbusters, at least try to do something fresh. Which,
exactly.
You know, I don't know, the trailer looked like pretty much a generic comedy, and some people went way overboard with this whole, oh, you can't make it with the women in it, you can't have the women in the movie. I don't get that at all. They're not pushing some kind of feminist agenda.
I love how one of the complaints I saw early on is, you know the movie is going to be bad because none of them are hot, and I'm just sitting there thinking, who the hell thought Dan Aykroyd was hot when the first Ghostbusters came out?
Everybody did. Dan Aykroyd was a sex symbol back then.
Of course, of course.
Sex symbol. Bill Murray was a sex god in the 80s. You know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Now that I've said that on camera, I can't take it back.
Nope. It is out there forever.
Yeah. No. I don't know. People are really hysterical about this, and I don't want to say that they're all outwardly sexist. I remember we were talking about this in the car last night.
I don't think a lot of people complaining they have that vibe to them, but I think it's more, it's their nostalgia, and for some reason our generation and Gen Xers think that if anything from our childhood is touched, it automatically makes it that we grew up in a third world country in poverty.
And that's the problem. You know, it's you know, all this stuff is just fiction. It's made up. You can do whatever you want with it. That's the story. And I think a lot of these people complaining about the Ghostbusters reboot, the idea of rebooting it with women, it's like they're reverting back to their childhood state, like a hypnosis, reverting back to a childhood state, like a no girls allowed sign on the treehouse.
Exactly.
You know, they're just, you know, cooties, they're afraid of cooties again all of a sudden. I don't know what it is. I mean, a lot of people had complaints that were not related to that, and it's fine. I'm not saying everybody who...
Well, yeah, I mean, I have my criticisms of it, but, I mean, it's still... You know, I woke up, my memories from childhood were the exact same. I looked through a photo album, everything was there. I wasn't like Marty McFly slowly disappearing.
Speak for yourself. When I saw Ghostbusters, the remake, I woke up and I couldn't remember anything about the old one. And whenever I thought of it, I just thought of women instead of the 4 men.
I put my DVD in the DVD player and nothing happens. The movie's gone now.
Whenever I put the DVD in, it said bold letters over the screen, oh, it's only women now, face the new reality. You know, that's what it said. I don't know, I think, you know, we're getting off track here a bit, but it's just funny to me after seeing this, how overblown both sides of that debate were for how unoffensive of a movie this really was. There really was not that much controversial about this movie. There was nothing in it that was radical. It was just an average kind of movie. It had some funny parts, and the fact that all of this this nonsense around it was just for such a pretty decent, okay movie. That's insane.
That's the thing. It was actually an alright movie, and it's rewatchable. It's enjoyable. I mean, better than a lot of other movies that come out this year.
Yeah, and there are going to be spoilers from here on out. In the 7 years that I've done the blog Cinema Freaks, I've never given a rat's ass about spoilers, so there's going to be spoilers in this. So, yeah, if you watched this far, at least you have the rest of this to continue. But Yeah, no, I mean, like Nathan said, it's a good movie. It was solid. I went in expecting basically nothing, and it was fine. You know, it was pretty good.
Yeah, I personally went in with kind of lowered standards. I was
Yeah.
expecting just to get a few laughs, and actually I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, all the women were outstanding. You know, like
definitely.
yeah, like you know, the two Kristen Wiig and Melissa McCarthy, where you know they had their whole like rivalry in the beginning. You know, they were really very, you know, they're fun to watch. They're animated. Kate McKinnon is outstanding.
Kate McKinnon is amazing. I love her and everything she does, and that was just awesome. And Leslie Jones's character
Jones was a lot of fun. She had a lot of personality.
I can't decide if McKinnon's character or Jones's character was my favorite.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, McKinnon, as, what was her name, Holtzman or something?
Holtzman, yeah.
Yeah, and like when she first came on screen, I'm like, oh my god, that's just gonna be kind of annoying to watch. Because she was very over the top.
Basically, she was the LOL random character.
Yeah, she was a little bit. But then, like, as the movie went on, like, you see that she's really a badass. Like, she's just kind of such a badass. She does all these cool things. And she's, you know, I hope they kind of develop that character more in the future.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and,
show
like,
the method to her madness.
Yeah, you know, it's all just, you know, there's clearly more to her than just, like, being a random kind of character. She has all these funny little lines, but, you know, she is cool, she's a badass, I want to know more about her. Leslie Jones, like you said, great character,
Oh,
you know, a lot of fun. Character. Yeah. Aside from that, like, I like movies with the character development, like, that's why I was so into this. I enjoyed watching these new characters. Same thing with the new Star Wars. Like, you know, you can breathe life into the franchise by having these cool, new, fun characters to watch that are actually new people to watch. The rest of the movie I did have some problems with here and there, like it wasn't perfect.
Yeah. Especially the villain just seemed like a cardboard cutout.
Yeah, he did. Like, the villain was like this creepy sort of guy, like this weird, seedy little dude who works in a hotel, and you see him doing all these creepy serial killer-ish things, like a Kevin Spacey in Seven, but that never really goes anywhere. He's just kind of, you know, he's just a generic villain. They don't develop him at all.
Basically, and,
he's just... Yeah, some of the, you know, this movie, you know, it's like the 80s style of comedy. There's a lot of jokes thrown at you every second. Not all of them yet, but, you know, I mean, the ones that do hit
the ones that do hit made up for it, but that was my issue probably with the second act, is that it had the most kind of just fall flat jokes.
Like Chris Hemsworth, I know you say you didn't like him that much.
I mean, I enjoy him, but I felt like his kind of comedy was offset with the rest of the comedy. It's like putting Leslie Nielsen into the original Ghostbusters. It just doesn't seem like it would work as well.
I can see that. Yeah, I've never really seen Chris Hemsworth do a role like this. It was good to actually see him having fun. Some of his lines were hilarious. Like, you know, other times it was just maybe a little bit too much. With it, didn't always quite go over perfectly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to answer the phone in the fish tank. That was a little...
Yeah, right. That was funny to me. Like, I think like it got a little bit much later on, like after the initial shock wore off, like it got a little bit much where he couldn't even answer the phone. I thought that was pretty stupid. You know, there was no really need.
Then when he showed him the different logos he made, that just seemed a little...
When he showed the 7-Eleven one, that was funny. I mean, I like that. Yeah, he showed like a bunch of logos for the Ghostbusters, and you know, very funny. There's all these little tiny jokes in there. And the plot is, you know, it's pretty kind of a safe plot. It's like basically the first movie's plot, you know, kind of done with the, you know, with slightly different specifics here and there.
Instead of, you know, the architecture of a building being the pathway for the other dimensions, this guy going around making homemade, basically extraplanar bombs that when they set off would make the ley lines act up.
And I like that idea. That's why I was hoping we'd get more development for the villain. But then like, it didn't really go anywhere. It was just like, alright, he becomes the ghost, he starts possessing people.
Exactly. Like that's like basically the darkest thing is he kills himself to become a ghost.
Yeah. And, I mean, I don't know, there was some other weird things, like Kristen Wiig's character immediately gets fired from her job as a professor at a college. And she doesn't really seem to care at all.
The whole build-up was her freaking out. Oh, I can't be doing this because I'm getting my tenure soon.
Yeah, right.
And then as soon as she's fired...
And for someone who's been there that long, she seemed very nervous in the beginning to be teaching a class. It was kind of, I was like, I've really been doing this for like 10 years. Like, really? You know, that was weird. Yeah, it's like the whole backstory with her as well. Like she has this backstory about like she's a like she was haunted as a kid. And they don't really that was kind of a weird. They didn't really do anything with that. It was like a weird backstory they had for no reason.
I mean, it's like it's one thing that allows her to open up because she is kind of a I wouldn't want to say prude, but she's kind of.
Yeah, right. That's what I didn't like about that character. We didn't have a character like that in the original Ghostbusters, really.
No.
I mean, you know,
I mean, even Sigourney Weaver was more down to earth.
Sigourney Weaver was down to earth, but she wasn't part of the Ghostbusters, really. No. She was just a victim. You know, yeah, and like this one, that's what I did like about this was that the fact that you had the 4 women really did lend itself to a freshness. It felt different. It didn't feel like the same thing.
That and it wasn't remakes of Stans, Venkman.
Yeah, right. That's what I was worried about. That it would just be like the same kind of character types. And the only one was Holtzman was a bit like Egon, but that was
a little, but she was more crazy.
She was. She was eccentric. She was kind of a younger, cuter, kind of spunkier character. Right. She wasn't like a weird tall broomstick like Egon. She was different. And but yeah, she was the only one who was kind of comparable. And obviously, Patty Tolan, the character Leslie Jones played, is kind of like Ernie Hudson's character. But like that's just because they come in, they're not really Ghostbusters.
Exactly, they're the non-scientist who comes in the second act and is like, hey, let me help out.
I didn't see why they needed to repeat that again, but like again, the character was good enough.
Well, there were a lot of subtle things that were repeats. Like you have the stuck-up maitre d' calling them in, begging them to come in, but then freaking out when they destroy everything.
Right. Yeah, I mean, they really, I think that's just Hollywood is just being very safe again. Like that's the problem, that they have to be so safe with these plots. They can't do anything different. So
that's basically where all my complaints would probably boil down to are, Hollywood just being cookie cutter nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, with this movie, I didn't care that much just because, I was just watching it for the jokes. I wasn't really expecting like some kind of intricate plot. And that's what gets me about the people who complain about it. They're like, oh, the mythology of Ghostbusters, like it's ruining Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters was just a silly movie.
I think the cartoon ruined the mythology.
Yeah, I never really saw the cartoon.
It was your typical 80s cartoon.
Yeah. No, Ghostbusters was just a silly movie. It was never anything more than just a silly movie. It was never some kind of epic Lord of the Rings style lore.
The first one has some serious tones, but then by the time you get to the second, they're 2 of them are washed up and playing at children's birthday parties.
Yeah, right. I wish they had gone farther with that in the second movie. I wish they'd had more stuff like just how washed up they all were. Like they were all playing birthday parties and trying to, the way they didn't really go all the way with that.
Nah.
Yeah.